Hey guys, welcome back to another interesting video. In this video, we are going to take a look at the RootMe walkthrough from TryHackMe. And the purpose of creating walkthroughs in my channel is not just solving these challenges, but also to teach you something new that is essential for your life in your cybersecurity career. So once you start the mission and connect it to the OpenVPN, then you can just click here for deploy the mission task. That's how you easily complete the task 1. Okay, and after a minute you will be able to get your target IP address. In this case, I connected using OpenVPN. You can also download the configuration file and connect using OpenVPN, or you can just start the attack box, whichever you prefer. So after that, you have to start the mission. Then you will get an IP address, which is our target IP address, in just a minute. After that, you can just click that complete, and we have 3 tasks remaining. One of them is Reconnaissance, which is the first task that we should complete after deploying the mission. After that, getting a shell, then privilege escalation. Let's start with the Reconnaissance. First, let's get information about the target. We have our target IP address, and the first question is about the scan the mission, how many ports are open. The basic tool that we use for scanning ports is Nmap, right? And it's also mentioned in the hint, use Nmap to do a port scan. That's basic. So yeah, let's perform a port scan using Nmap. The basic usage of Nmap is like Nmap space the target IP address, and as you can see, 998 closed TCP ports and 2 of them are open, which is SSH and HTTP. So it will basically scan for the most common 1000 ports when you enter Nmap space the target IP address. So what if you want some more information? Like you can just use the -p- for all port scanning and -sp for service version, and this -p- basically scans for the most scans for all the ports, which is the 65,535 ports, and the -sv is used for getting the version related informations. When you perform the basic Nmap scan, you were able to see port, state, service. These are the 3 things that you were able to get, right? You don't get any version related informations. By specifying the -sv, you will be able to get the version related informations, and the purpose of specifying the -p- is of course to scan for all the ports. By scanning using Nmap space target IP address, it will basically scan for the most common 1000 ports. Out of 1998 are closed is what is shown here. So if you perform -p- scan, it will scan for all the ports, which is 65,535 ports, and this scan was now completed. As you can see here, 65,533 are closed and only 2 of them are open, and we were able to get the details and version related information by specifying this -sv, and all port scanning will give us the scan results of the all scan. Okay, and you will be able to see some these are the 2 ports open in the target, and the question here says scan the mission, how many ports are open. Basically it's 2. So what version of Apache is running? So the version in which the Apache is running in port 80, the version is HTTPD 2.4.41 is the version in this case. So what service is running on port 22? And we have 2 services running here in this target IP. One of them is SSH and the next one is HTTP. In port 22, you can see it's SSH. SSH is running. The secure shell is running in port 22. So find directories on the web server using the GoBuster tool. You can use other tools like dirbuster, whatever you like to use. But in this case, they are asking you to use the GoBuster tool, and the basic commands that you can use in GoBuster was this. You do have hint about that available there. How you can use GoBuster tool is just this. Okay, so anyways, I'm just going to use that. First, let me paste the target IP in the tab to see the web page. And this is the page root@rootme #can you root me. So yeah, we have to use the GoBuster tool. I'm just copying the URL, and let's use the GoBuster tool by entering GoBuster, dir for directory, -u for the URL, and -w for the word list. In this case, we are using the common word list user share word list dir common.txt is the word list that I'm going to use in this case. So yeah, this is how you basically use this command. GoBuster is the tool name, dir for specifying the directory, -u for the URL, and -w is for the word list. In most commonly, we use this common.txt word list in GoBuster. In some scenarios, we will use some other word list which will be available in the dirbuster directory. You can just use the word list that you would like to use to find the hidden directories. So anyways, this was completed and we were able to get some information. As you can see, this is status 403, which is basically an error code, a client error code, and 301 is like a redirection code, and 200 is a success code. So these are the codes available here, and this is basically the redirection code 301. When I right click and click open link, then you can see it is redirected to some other page, and it was able to open this. And this is basically some CSS concepts, and there is nothing suspicious here. So after that, we have JS, which seems to be JavaScript, and there is a JavaScript content here, and here also I didn't find anything suspicious. So after that, we have a panel tab, and here it is. Here seems to be suspicious. Select a file to upload. Here we can just upload a file into it. Yeah, that may be something that is useful for us. And at the end, we have the uploads directory. Here there is nothing, but I think when you upload something here, then it will appear here. Yeah, these are some things that we should need it. And let's close these useless contents. And what is the hidden directory? We were able to get a lot of hidden directories, but the one that is useful for us is this panel directory, right? So I think that is what they're asking for. Yes, that is what they're asking for. And we were able to find directories using GoBuster. We can also check that. Let me refresh. This is basically an unknown error which usually comes in TryHackMe nowadays. I don't know why. If TryHackMe is watching this video, then you should definitely solve this error. Okay, guys. Yeah, that was done. Now we are moving to the task 3, which is about getting a shell. Find a form to upload and get a reverse shell and find the flag. We can use PHP reverse shells to upload here, but let's see the hint. The hint is also saying us to use the PHP reverse shell. Search for file upload bypass and PHP reverse shell. In this case, you don't have to search anywhere for that, which will be pre-installed in our Linux. You can just copy directly from the directory user share web shell php. Inside that, you can see the php reverse shell.php. So this is something that we want. I'm just copying that in the current directory by specifying dot, which will copy that in the current directory. So here is our php reverse shell.php file, and we have to change something on it. In some scenarios, if you can't get the reverse shell from here, then you can just search for pentest monkey, and you will be able to get from the GitHub repo, or you can just go for a website called reverse shells, which is also great for getting that. And you can generate a wide variety of reverse shells from here. Here you can just look for PHP pentest monkey, and this is basically our reverse shell. Yeah, these are some methods that you can get the reverse shell if you can't find the reverse shell in your Linux. I'm just entering ifconfig to get my IP address. So here in this case, I have to use the TryHackMe's OpenVPN IP address, which is the ton0 address. If you are using or performing anything in the TryHackMe, then you have to, if you are connected to the OpenVPN, then you have to use this ton0 instead of your Ethernet 0's IP address. So this is something that you should definitely need to keep in mind. So yeah, after that, let me open that PHP reverse shell using mousepad. And here in this case, we have to edit that IP address. So yeah, here is the IP section. You have to edit properly without eliminating the single quotes. You have to give your IP ton0's IP address here. Save that, and I'm just not going to change the port number. Let it be default 1234. And after saving that, you can just close this. And let's try to upload this into this upload. Here is our reverse shell. Clicking open, clicking upload. Unfortunately, we were able to get an error which seems to be red, which seems to be any other language. You can just use the Google Translate to translate that. PHP is not allowed is what it means. So it's basically Portuguese. Yeah, So let's we have to change the file extension to something that it should allow. It is not supporting PHP. Then we can just use something like PHTML or something like that. Let's try it with that. So I'm just moving this PHP reverse shell.php to a newer file name called shell.phtml. I'm just changing the file name and the extension for ease of typing here. Like shell seems to be shorter than PHP reverse shell.php. Yeah, I have to change the extension. Basic thing that you have to do here is to change the extension only. But I'm also changing the name for more comfortably. Yeah, anyways, I hope you understand. So yeah, after that, when I enter ls, I can see the name, the extension here is changed to phtml. And now we can just try to upload this again. The PHP is what it is not supported. Then I just change it to PHTML. Now let's try to upload the PHTML shell.phtml file, and it was successful. So we were able to upload that. So if you want to know, the file was uploaded successfully, and we were able to see something here, Veja. I don't know what Veja is. So let's translate that. Yeah, we have to know everything, not just soul in this channel, right? Look is written there. So yeah, let's move on to the uploads. Let's refresh, and it is as expected. We were able to see our uploaded files in this uploads directory. So anyways, let's perform netget. Let's use the netget tool minus nvlp, which is the numeric verbose listen port. 1234 is the port number that is in the shell. After that, click shell.phtml. Now we were able to get a reverse shell here. So we were able to explore the vulnerability getting reverse shell, right? So anyways, here you can see can't access TTY, job control turned off. In this case, you can just spawn the session link, spawn TTY, and you can just visit this wiki website, and you will be able to see a script for that. And you can just copy the first Python script, paste it here. That's it. Now it looks cool. When I enter ls, I'm just now basically in this root directory. So we have to find the flag. When I enter who am I'm just www data. Let's try to move to the home directory. In the home, we have 3 users: RootMe, test, Ubuntu. Let's move to RootMe directory. In the RootMe directory, I was not able to find anything. There is some hidden contents only. So let me move back. First aim is to get the user flag, right? So yeah, in the test directory also there is nothing. Let's move back to the Ubuntu directory. Oh my god, I'm just having an error. So I accidentally put the single quote, so I'm just getting error. Yeah, I was able to exit by specifying the single quote again. So anyways, let's try to move to the Ubuntu. And in the Ubuntu directory also we could not find any user flag. So what I'm going to do, yeah, we have .ssh here. Maybe, yeah, we can't move to that particular .ssh folder for getting a private key, something like that. So anyways, our aim is to get the reverse shell. Let's search I missed to get the user flag. Let's search in the var directory, var www, and guys, here is our user.txt here. So let's view that, and here it is. So basically the reason I visited this directory is because this is where the web server is running on, and we were able to get some information about the hidden directories or some other contents from here. Yeah, let us answer this, and I will show you that also, right? So yeah, basically you do have a file called html, so where you do have the website is running on, and you will be able to see some panel uploads. These are the directories that we visited before, right? Like that, you will be able to see some sensitive informations in this particular directory. So during a pen test, it is recommended to come here for checking any other useful files for us. Yeah, anyways, this was correct. Now we are moving to the last task of privilege escalation. Now that we have a shell, let's escalate our privileges to root. We gained access to a normal user called www data, and now our aim is to become root. So which is the task of performing privilege escalation. We do have hints, and according to the hint, this is the command that we were able to get. And the question here is search for files with SUID permissions. Which file is where? Let's search this. And as you can see, you were able to get a lot of permission denied, right? So permission denied, permission denied. So this is something that you should definitely need to avoid. By specifying the to greater slash dev slash null command, you can just avoid this permission denied content. So yeah, you can just answer directly, but this the purpose of my video is not just solve this challenge, but also to teach you something more, right? So yeah, let's use this command with to greater slash dev slash null for making contents error free, and you won't be able to see some permission denied contents once you use to greater slash dev slash null. Yeah, maybe this will be a newer knowledge for you. Like that, there is something in this video that should be newer knowledge for you, so that's why it is highly recommended to watch this video till the end. Okay, so here we were able to see a lot of files, a lot of informations, but something that feels weird is like here, user bin python 2.7 seems to be weird for me. So basically, how you can find these weird contents, basically if you list this, the simple example or simple content that I would like to talk here is you can use the website called GTF bins. Let me show you that. And what you can do here to find any weird or suspicious contents is you can just it has 4 5 6 executables, right? So you can see we have user bin chsh, right? You can just search for chsh here, nothing found, so that is not suspicious. So like that you will be able to get some little information, but in some scenarios the contents will not be available in GTF bins. It should be available in your mission also. Yeah, that's something to note. But some of these contents will be available in the GTF bins. Like that you will be able to find the binaries for gaining privilege, like gaining to root access. So in some scenarios you will be able to see something more suspicious here, which will be available in our system, in our mission. So in this case it's basically user bin python 2.7 is seems to be a little fishy for me. Let's enter that. It's incorrect. Let's eliminate the 2.7, and it's correct. It's basically Python, but there it's running 2.7. So anyways, find a form to escalate your privileges. You can see search for GDFO bin. So you have to know about this GDFO bin's website and performing privilege escalation. After that you have to read the root.txt file. So here in this case we have the Python 2.7. The 2.7 or 3 point something like that is not available in the GTF bins, but you can just search for Python, and if needed you can just edit according to what you want. Like you can just change this code to 2.7 if you want. So like that we have unprivileged sudo SUID capabilities there. Let's use this SUID, which is what we wanted. Like this is the this function is performed by privileged user if the executable has SUID bit set and the right ownership because the effective privileges are not wrong. In this case ours are SUID, right? So anyways, let's open a notepad and change this into Python 2.7 if wanted, and let's try to use that here. And boom guys, we were able to get a root shell. When I enter who am I, you can see I am now root. Okay, so yeah, let's move to the root directory. In the root directory we have the root.txt. Let's view that. That's pretty much about it guys. I hope this video teaches you something new, but if you skip this video and reach this part, if you still can't grasp anything new, then you have to watch this entire video to learn something new. Yeah, the purpose of creating videos or watching walkthroughs is not just for solving the challenges, but also you have to definitely need to understand some new concepts in walkthrough. So that's what I'm recommending for you to begin your learning in cybersecurity. Yeah, that's pretty much about it guys. I hope this video is informative for you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.